there, internet. Mogwai here, and I got yet another Legends of Runeterra review for you guys today. Not the kind of video that I expected to be making today. I, in fact, had an upload, a really sick upload, ready for you guys, but I'm gonna be postponing it till tomorrow because it would be really weird to just upload a regular gameplay video and not talk about arguably the most important news Legends of Runeterra has been dealt with in a long time. This is the State of the Game article by Riot. A lot of you have probably seen this already. A good chunk of you probably haven't. But basically, Riot made an overall announcement. It's not this one. This is like specifically to Legends of Runeterra. But they made a tweet. It's linked right here, like the article. Basically, like you go here and you see the changes at Riot and the road ahead, right? And here they mentioned that they are eliminating 530 jobs. So basically, they are firing 530 people, or not. I don't know if firing. I don't know what the term is exactly for the situation. Like they're being laid off, right? It's not like they didn't do anything wrong or anything. Like, it's just a business decision, right? I'm not gonna comment too much on this because my knowledge of like running a company is extremely limited, and I'm not gonna dissect this nor give you guys pseudo science takes or anything. Like I don't know enough to really discuss about that. I could just say that it's an awful thing that happened. 530 people losing their jobs. That just really sucks. And perhaps it's safe to assume that they released 531 because that's not even accurate because I'm not the only content creator here. But yeah, this announcement, obviously, when you see them announcing that they're going to be releasing 530 people, 11% of their workforce, it's hard to imagine Legends of Runeterra not being affected by this, especially when you go further down. You see this doubling down on games at the center. And, at first when I read this, I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe like this doesn't have to do like, no, they're doubling down on their games. Oh, wow. Good stuff. Like I was actually, I could feel the hope in my veins. And then I read League of Legends, Valorant, Teamfight Tactics, and Wild Rift. And then I was like, oh, reality. Hello there again. We go down and we see them mentioning Legends of Runeterra and Riot Forge, and as they mentioned, they talk about lore. They basically say here, as Legends of Runeterra continues its journey, we're making changes to move the game towards sustainability. We know there's a passionate community who absolutely love this game. We do too. Great. Despite critical achievements and the role it's played in helping to build out the world of Runeterra, Legends of Runeterra has faced financial challenges since launch, costing significantly more to develop and support than it generates. So this is something that a lot of us have been. I'm gonna put my mic closer because I think it's not close enough. This is something that a lot of us have been, saying, speculating about for quite some time, right? That the way Legends of Runeterra works, there's no real, like, they're not making money off of it, right? Like, it's hard to believe that they are. We've seen indications that Legends of Runeterra has been struggling since the beginning. This is not something that's like shocking us, right? The game has struggled. In the past, it never, it failed to get mentioned a lot of times when Riot Games discussions happened, especially important ones. Like Legends of Runeterra was always like the end of the last one in line, essentially, in these discussions. And, you click here and it takes you to this page right here where they actually talk more specifically about it. So TLDR, what they're saying, instead of like just like reading this entire chunk, I'll simplify it for you real quick. The Dave Guskin, who is the executive producer and the game director of Legends of Runeterra, is no longer going to be in that position. He's going to be taken over by somebody else. They mentioned them here. Eric, was it Eric Shen? Yeah, Eric Shen. Eric Shen will be taking over. And essentially, like I said, TLDR, the game is going to be focusing primarily on Path of Champions. Player versus player content support will cease to be. When exactly this will happen, we don't know. They don't really clarify it. I would suspect that, I would bet that Legends of Runeterra has at the very least, like player versus player, has at the very least like one more year worth of content ready to be released, and that'll happen. So for those of you like who just care about being able to play Legends of Runeterra, you shouldn't worry like now. Like you're gonna have stuff, new champions are on the rise and everything. But this announcement is extremely concerning for us invested in the game because it means that it's coming to an end more likely than not. At least the player versus player experience, aka what I play the game for. Gabby, like my fiance, actually plays a lot of Path of Champions. She really enjoys it. I was planning on diving into it as well for like a subathon stream, but my main focus has always been deck building. Like that's what this channel has been about. Legends of Runeterra really really shaped my content creation career. It set me on a path, and I really like that path. It's a journey that I very much enjoyed. I've been doing this for a while, like ever since the game released. You guys, I can just show you real quick. Like if you scroll down, look at all the videos I made. It's gonna be a slight Marvel Snap chapter here, as you guys can see. Oh boy, have I said great things about that game. We had a Marvel Snap chunk, but then, you know, look at all these videos. My work for the past 3 years. Keep scrolling down, like I've made so many videos. Look at this guy, smiling, so happy, not knowing what the future awaits. And yeah, man, I've been doing this for a long time. And it's kind of crazy to think that we may very well be nearing the end. So many uploads. All these like different decks. And honestly, like one hell of a ride. Wouldn't trade it for anything. Like I've loved my job for, and I still love what I do. I love content creation. And especially after like, because 2023 was a year in which I branched out, right? Like I tried Marvel Snap for quite a few months. As a lot of you know, I had issues with the monetary system. Amongst other things, like I never really enjoyed making videos about it as much as I did with Legends of Runeterra, because I'm a deck builder at heart. And in a card game like Marvel Snap, deck building is more limited, right? Because it's just 12 cards. So it's hard to like innovate consistently in Marvel Snap. Nothing compared to Legends of Runeterra. Legends of Runeterra allowed me to just monetize my creativity, essentially, and I loved it because of that. I mean, I still love it. I'm bummed out, naturally. Like, it sucks because it's like, you know, it's like I had this amazing girlfriend and I cheated on her with Marvel. and then with like her older or her younger sister, I don't know, like TFT. I did that for a while, and all that just made me realize how much I loved lore, how much I loved making videos for this game, and how I feel like my particular niche as a content creator was like perfect for the Riot card game. They really did a great job. Like, obviously, development has been, there's been a bunch of ups and downs. There's been a lot of downs, a lot of rough metas, a lot of certain instances in which the game's identity was not very clear. They experimented with certain things that didn't work out. I feel like stuff like the attach mechanic and the Runeterra champion concept. The attach mechanic was a failure. Like the fact that Yuumi is perhaps my least favorite champion. So that wasn't great, and it was ultimately replaced with equipments, right? And then like I said, we had the I mentioned the attach mechanic, and then we had the Runeterra champion mechanic, which recently was really like I think they finally figured it out with Elder Dragon's design. And honestly, like the game's been in the best state it's pretty much ever been. Like that's where it is right now. That's why this is such a sad announcement. I just feel I legitimately do believe that Legends of Runeterra just needed more time. More time to establish itself within the card gaming community. It really is something special. As somebody who's played the genre ever since I was a teenager, like a young teenager, I've never been this invested in a card game for so long. It has been the best card game for me. And having that, like, having this announcement happen, it's a tough pill to swallow. Not gonna lie. This video is gonna be kind of emo. Like, it's you know, it's gonna be the vibe of this. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do, because from 2023, getting back to Legends of Runeterra really made me like headset on the idea that, you know, this was my home. This was my home. And now that home seems like it eventually will cease to be. I don't want to be so gloomy, so like a doomsayer, but we have to be realistic. This is not something that has shocked us. It didn't like come out of nowhere. I honestly thought we had more time. And I believed this year, with the direction the game was taking with this latest expansion, I really believed that I think the developers are at the best of their game that they've ever been. English, like they're better than they've ever been, basically. And we've seen that with this latest expansion, like the mechanics, the deck building possibilities. It's really on point. Like the downside is because of the Christmas break, we didn't get a balance patch when we should have. And any sort of meta is gonna become a bit of a nuisance when it's prolonged that long. That's kind of what card games have become in the digital era, and that may be one of the reasons why the genre feels kind of doomed. But I do think that's a bit negative to say, just because, you know, just because every card game that I cover goes 6 feet under. Doesn't mean the genre is done, right? Right? Yeah, I haven't done a video like this in a while, which I just talk in front of the camera, but man, hopefully I'm not too awkward about it. If you look at the this, it's really funny because when I get the news about it, like I had like one of the most productive brewing days ever, and I was feeling so happy about it. Like yesterday's and today's videos were covered, and then I had these 3 decks that I made that I was ready to share as well. Like I felt great. I felt great. I make a tweet. I literally make a tweet saying I cooked today. I show these 3 decks, and then one of my viewers, Pig Shirt Vegeta, good buddy. I hated him in that specific moment, but eventually I came to terms that it wasn't his fault. But he replied to my tweet, and yeah, and he showed me the article and the announcement, rather. And here we are. I love what I do. I really do. I feel like I actually contribute something. I feel like what I do actually matters. Like it helps people. Like it gives people ideas to explore within the game. You know, like they can net deck my decks, or they can take the concept and try to make their own. Whatever it is they do, I feel like I inspire people to try different strategies, and I really try to expose just how broad the possibilities are within this card game. And that's been kind of like my mission throughout these years, right? And I'm pretty happy with the job I've had. And what really sucks is that I feel like with age and with time, I've only gotten better at it. I feel like my deck building now is significantly better than it used to be. And I have so much to offer in that regard. And I was so looking forward to like rotation and everything. So obviously, like, being hit with this in the face, it's just doesn't feel great, you know? I feel like I found my footing after a rough year. Only to learn, yeah. We're only getting started. So, yeah, I'm in a situation where I'm kind of coping with it. I'm kind of like assessing it. And yeah, I have a lot of thinking to do. But I wanted to share you guys like my impressions. You know, there's a lot of people who are very angry and are blaming Riot and the management and everything. But I don't think that's appropriate. I think they've done a great job. And I just think sometimes, like, turns out having a good product isn't everything. Even if you're backed, like, if I've learned something, especially since Artifact, is that even if you're backed by a powerhouse of a development company, doesn't mean you're safe. And I don't know what it is with Legend of Runeterra. I don't know if it's because it came too late. I've had a lot of theories over the years as to why it wasn't more successful than it should have been. It was still really big, though. Like, obviously the viewership dwindled down, but man, this game at its peak had a tremendous audience. Maybe not on Twitch, but on YouTube, always been massive. And, you know, since you're here watching, like, I'm sitting here wondering, like, what are you gonna do? What would you guys like to see? My plan, I want to keep going. I know the ship may be sinking, but I just enjoy doing what I do so much. And I think people appreciate it as well. But we'll have to see for how long it can remain sustainable, right? And then I'll have to make a decision. And to be quite honest with you, I've always had like a plan. I've always had but this caught me so off guard because I didn't think it would happen now. That for the first time, I really don't know what to do. And that's kind of scary. It's kind of scary. 2023 also, like, I've had self-belief. Like, I believe in myself as somebody who can entertain, and just as a content creator, as they say it, right? Or as some random asshole who uploads videos. I feel like I have stuff to offer. I feel like my content was actually I don't feel like I ever like cheated people out of a view, you know? Like I think I always gave people something interesting, like a reason to watch. And I really, really enjoyed it. And I felt pride in it. Nothing lasts forever. But god damn. This game deserves better. But yeah, I felt confident stuff, but last year really, like, my experience into TFT was really kind of eye-opening. Like, I'm not as... I have to be good at the games that I cover. Like, that's the reality. Like, I have my core audience, which I am eternally grateful for. But if I want to, like, actually thrive, I have to know what I'm doing. And for a game like TFT, for example, I need more time to develop a proper level. And I didn't particularly like the idea of making YouTube content on TFT. Like, I wasn't really excited about it. Because I'm not building decks, I'm drafting them, right? Like, that's what TFT is. It's like a draft experience. So it's not the same. I can't give you something that you can make for your own, you can use and play with yourself, right? And that kind of like really hinders my style, like how I do things. Like I think one of my strongest traits as a content producer is creativity, right? I think I'm a creative person, and Runeterra allowed me to express that. So what the next chapter is, or will be, doesn't have to be right now, is something that I have to think about. And I feel like I've been talking for 20 minutes without really saying much. I feel like I'm in a bit of a catatonic state. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks even more for me personally because it affects my livelihood, right? And right now I'm not sure where I'll be going, but I'll find the path eventually. If you guys could guide me towards it, that'd be nice. And for the time being, I will continue to make Runeterra because, you know, whether new content is coming 1 year from now or not, I'm really enjoying the game right now. I've had some issues with the meta, like I had my temper tantrum the other day, but I keep discovering this inspiration for like different deck ideas, and you know, I don't want that to end just yet. What do you guys think about these news? Like, what are you? Anything you have to say? Like, I'd love to see it in the comments down below. We could, you know, any suggestions, like anything. I'm using you guys as a therapy session, I guess, as I did with my stream. But I'm gonna end it here because otherwise this video is gonna be like way too long with like no substance whatsoever. But it's a sad day. And I hope that something happens that can revert the path that we seem to be heading down. So, and now there's like a drill. Fantastic timing. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you guys for watching this video. I don't even know if this is like worthy of an upload, but I wanted to keep it raw. You know, I wanted to like not scripted, just like ramble for a little bit. And yeah, the future is uncertain for me. You know, because this is more than a hobby for me. And I'm going to have to really determine what action I have to take. But regardless of where we are today and where we are tomorrow, where we've been yesterday, I just really, 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 really appreciate you guys who've stuck around with me over the years. All the new viewers as well. And hopefully, you know, we find our footing and and we get to enjoy Legends of Runeterra for as long as possible. And that's where I'm going to end it at. Thank you guys for watching. Love you. I really do. Like, I don't take you guys for granted. Never have. And I've always felt very grateful to be in the position that I'm in. And, you know, that's just life, though. Nothing remains the same. So, yeah. Have a soul day. Video tomorrow with a really sick deck that I'm excited to share. I'll see you then.